Hi everyone, happy to have you here. Today I am reviewing a new concealer from Maybelline. It's called Master Conceal. It's from their Face Studio line and it says it's a camouflaging concealer, and I have this in the shade Light. I first off am really happy with the consistency of this product. When I first just swatched it on my hand, hadn't even put it on my face yet, I was thinking, wow, this is a really lightweight concealer for being as good of coverage as it is, you know? I don't know if I could really go out on a limb and call this like super full coverage concealer though, because when I think of Hard Candy's Glamouflage concealer, that is, I think, a little more of a dry consistency compared to this, just the way it dries on your skin. But it does have really amazing coverage. And these, I think, are a step down from that, definitely coverage-wise. I do find this to have more coverage though than the Maybelline Fit Me concealer with the wand applicator. And an issue that I normally have with these skin tone concealers, if I'm gonna use them on the under eye area, I better not have too much of an under eye problem to use something like this on top, because really it can lighten the problem but not totally eliminate it. I thought this did a really good job for what it is of diminishing the under eye circle, you know, but I still feel like I can kind of see some darkness. Like when I turn my head, when the light hits me a certain way, I can kind of still see some darkness in there. And on my skin, I feel like those really bluish tone, cool tone circles and darkness around my eye area is only truly camouflaged by a corrector type product that's in a very peachy tone. Benefit Erase Paste is a good example of something like that. I can put it on there and it's got good coverage and it does the total color correction magic on those types of problems. But for a lot of people out there, your under eye issues might just be very minimal. You know, it's just maybe a little darkness like right in there in the innermost part, and something like this could maybe be enough. And I do think if you try this, you will be surprised at the coverage it has for as thin as the consistency is. I picked up the shade in Light, and I think at first I thought this was going to be too light for me. But really, the more I use this, particularly on the under eye area, I don't think I really want to go any darker. And elsewhere on my face, it kind of acts as a highlight type thing because it definitely is a little lighter than my foundation. So just to show you the application, I get a little bit on my finger. It really doesn't take much because this product spreads really nicely across the skin. So a little bit on my finger and then just dab it on the under eye. Anything left over, you know, I might take a little bit down my nose, on the chin, anywhere where I might want my skin to be a little more highlighted. And then I took my Up and Up round foundation brush and just tapping over this concealer blends it out while maintaining a lot of its coverage. So as a whole, I think this did a good job of brightening up the darkness. And I'm not dealing with a lot of breakouts or blemishes on my skin right now, but this strikes me as the kind of concealer that would be really good for concealing those types of problems, just because it is so thin, it doesn't seem drying. So I personally think this is a really good concealer from the drugstore. It's kind of in the middle ground where texture is concerned. There are definitely more moisture-packed concealers out there, like I think of the Sonia Kashuk All Covered Up concealer. You know, when I put that on the under eye area, that really adds some richness, just a more hydrated feel to the skin. But this is not the driest concealer either. I think the drugstore has far more dry concealers than they have hydrating type concealers. If I still was dealing with my full-on melasma right here on the tops of my cheekbones, I do not think this would have been enough to cover that up. If we're talking like light to medium under eye circles, I think this could do pretty well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this review helped you out, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!